Who is God?
Oh God.
God is to me is, I feel most connected to the world and to nature and to a universal power when I'm out in nature. Just like times like this when I'm on the grass. If I'm like, more in the water in nature, that's when I feel most connected to God.
The question is, who is God?
I think God represents something for a lot of different people. I personally believe that there's one sort of creator, and he's a lot of people have different names for him, but it's the same creator ultimately, and it's just whatever cultures feel like they can best represent their culture and put it, like, the morals and ethics that they want to their people. But I think ultimately it's the same person, just called by a different name.
I have no idea. I don't believe in God, so it's not something I've thought a lot about. If I'm gonna have to like put a gender, definitely a woman. There's no way a man created all of this. So yeah, I think God is different to every single person. So.
Who is God? Well, I am a Muslim on paper, all the way from Istanbul, Turkey. So God to me is Allah. What it means to me, though, is being a good person, doing the best I can every single day.
Who is God? God is a woman. I don't know who God is, actually.
I don't know who God is. I think it's honestly whoever you want it to be.
Well, to a lot of people, that's a different answer. To me, God is more of a, maybe everything, There's not one. I don't believe in the typical guy in the sky kind of thing, but God is just everything. Yeah.
Who is God?
Mm-hmm.
I guess that depends on like your religion, right? I guess for me growing up, my parents have always been Christian, so for me, God would be Jesus. But I guess for anybody else, to each his own, right? God is who you want it to be, and I don't think you should push religion on anyone else. You should let people figure it out for themselves.
God is nature.
I think God is everyone and everything.
Who is God? Whoever you put your faith in, it doesn't have to be a person, a being, it's just whatever you believe will help you.
God is whoever you want God to be. It could be someone you know, it could be some spiritual being up there. It's whatever you choose to believe in.
God is who you believe created you and the world around you.
God is everything and everyone.
God is source. It's infinity. It's all of us. We're all shatters of the same, different fragments of the same prism, I guess. All of us together is that unified energy.
I would say it's not, God is the eternal person, he has many names. He's not just meant for one sect or one type of person, one color of skin, one gender. God is one. He has many different names. Krishna, Rama, Allah, Yahweh, Jehovah, Buddha. Like, there's so many names of God, and we can actually connect with that through ourselves. Deep down we all know that it's there. So really it's whatever God is to you.
I met him in a bar one night in East Austin. And it was this really attractive woman. No, God, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, God. My answer probably is different now than it was 5 or 10 years ago and 20 years ago, and it's always going to change. But I think God is in everything. I think God is just creation. I think there's different levels of creation. Like, God is in bacteria, God is in me, God is in you, God is in everything, because I think if there is an ultimate creation or ultimate source of creation, then that exists everywhere. And it's our human minds and things like that cause separation, and that kind of cause us to think that there's these different gods. But it seems like all the religious texts are kind of talking about the same thing, but they have these different rules and dogmas and things like that. But ultimately, God's everywhere, but we just don't really see that.
God. So true, bestie.
So true, bestie.
So true.
I feel like God to everybody is whoever we want to make proud of us in life. I feel like at the end of the day, everybody, whether they're religious or not, whether they believe in God or not, we're all trying to appease a higher being, something higher than ourselves. I feel like everybody strives for someone, something to be proud in us, to be fulfilled with what we're doing with life. And I feel like God is whoever we want to be proud of us. God is whoever we want to look at our life and be happy with what we did.
So, if God is anything, I feel like it is something that everyone on earth can feel in their soul. And, regardless if you believe in a God or if you follow a certain religion, rather, I feel like there is a universal power that does exist. But you really kind of have to seek it with your own soul, however much you feel comfortable with. That's what's important.
The soul is sacred for people. The body is filthy. How is it possible? Yes? That's what we've been doing, isn't it so? Saying God is sacred, creation is filthy. How is it possible? The very thought of God occurred to you only because you saw creation, isn't it? When you were born and you opened your eyes, you looked around, so much creation. Before you came here, so much has happened. Obviously, you did not create it. So you thought, there must be a creator. This is how you come to the creator, isn't it? The moment you thought there must be a creator, because you're in a human form, you thought it must be a big man. A small man like me cannot do all this. It must be a big man. Just 2 hands, how can it do so much creation? Must be 8 hands. Isn't it? Isn't it so? If you were a buffalo, you would be really thinking, God is a huge buffalo. Isn't it so? Yes or no? You go and ask a buffalo and see. A buffalo will insist, God is a huge buffalo, maybe 4 horns. You know Idi Amin? You heard of Idi Amin? The Uganda man? Idi Amin declared, God is black. I agree with him. If a white man can have a white God, why can't a black man have a black God? But both those people are confused. We know God is brown. Because he visited us, Some time ago, I was talking to a group of people in Nashville in Tennessee, and I was telling them a joke. In the joke, I just referred to God as Him. Immediately a few ladies stood up. Do you believe God is a man? I knew where it's going. I said, See, I'm only telling you a joke. It doesn't matter. You said Him. Do you believe God is a man? They take the jokes very seriously. Now women are arguing, God could be a woman. Such problems exist only in those cultures. In India, we have man god, we have woman god, we have cow god, we have monkey god, we have everything. Every kind, crawling one, creeping one, flying one. Because we foresaw all the problems of the future. See, when man was the most powerful force on the planet, man was naturally God. Now women are also gaining in their power, so women are questioning, why can't it be a woman? So tomorrow suppose dogs gain lot of power which they're gaining, so dogs will ask, why not a dog god? Actually the spelling also is close, you know. You seem to be closer than you, isn't it? So your idea of God is just an exaggerated version of yourself, isn't it? Your idea of God is just an exaggerated version of yourself. See, you're still not able to define yourself, isn't it? Whatever definition you put on yourself is not correct. Any kind of definition you put on you, it is not enough to describe this one. When this small piece of creation is like this, the source of creation, how are you going to put a definition on it? You cannot define it, you cannot understand it, you can only dissolve into it. You can experience it, you can never know it, you can't make knowledge out of it. Whatever knowledge you have about God is just pure nonsense, cultural nonsense. Depending upon which kind of culture you are in, that kind of God you have, isn't it? It can only be experienced. Experience does not mean you can eat it or you can grasp it. No, you can experience only by dissolving in it. There is no other way. So, we are just looking for methods of dissolution so that we can experience something far bigger than ourselves.